A multi-day event is something that you have to have multiple patterns going into because they're gonna change. The weather's gonna change, the overall conditions are gonna change, things will change, the fish will change. So you need to be prepared for that. I built my game plan based off of largemouth in the morning, followed by smallmouth when the sun got up and high. Now luckily, on the second day, the conditions changed. We had a front moving in, a very nasty storm, and I really hope everybody who was out on the water during those hurricane force gale winds was okay. I mean, what blew in was just nasty around the 3 o'clock weigh-in time. But these are parts of this competition. You have to plan for these kind of things. And you know, I had a good draw for a co-angler who was a local who fishes there pretty much every weekend, who had a good smallmouth spot that we could run to that was close. And I made the decision to base my game plan off of my co-anglers, but I still prepped my game plan to be largemouth in the morning, try to get a quick limit, if not, at least get a couple fish in the box to calm myself down. You have to know how you operate in these situations. And instead of running to the spot to where I'd caught 4 fish the day before, fishing grass, I decided to start off on the spot to where my co-angler had actually caught his limit in the last 30 minutes of the day on day 1. I knew that there was actually a good school of fish there, and I knew that if I started out cranking, something I hadn't done all week long, you have to adapt, you have to go with what your gut says is going to work. So I started out cranking on the rocks, throwing a Berkeley square bull, and was able to pull up my first couple of fish.
Oh yeah, it's 14. First fish, guys. Skinny as they come, number 2. Don't let that ruin your day, man. I'm definitely not mad at you here anymore. That's basically my own rule. I didn't really see that.
Let me ask you this: if we go out to the rock piles and we got it on spot,
I'm not going to do that to you. Absolutely not.
am I allowed to cast in front of the boat then?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm not going to position it there. And I'm really, again, I'm
not.
not.
Get the wind and you put it on spot lock, it's going to be right in front of it.
Okay, well then yeah, I'll absolutely give you permission to do that. Because they're your spots. I wouldn't know them without you, and you know, I wouldn't be unfair to you in that manner. Just like right now, you know, not tucked up against it, not sticking you, you know, I could park on that point if I wanted to. You know, I just,
well, I really just drove
had that happen.
I can throw clear to that corner, and I have been, you know.
Yeah, not a big deal. It's just typically standard protocol unless somebody says something.
Now I want to talk about kind of what's going on right here. I've kind of broken off, or I just caught a fish and I'm retying. My co-angler, as we're paralleling the bank, casts right up in front of the bow of the boat and actually lands a really good fish. And while that kind of irked me a lot, you know, I decided to basically jump on that right off the bat because it was my fault that I didn't go over that at the beginning. In other tournaments, I'd gone over that and said, hey, listen, if the boat's pointed at it, I don't want you to cast at it. That's the only thing, that's the only rule that I have. Just don't cast, you know, parallel to 90 degrees with me. Because that's what my casting pattern is going to be. I'm going to be fan casting anywhere from 90 to straight ahead to another 90 directly off, or 180, however you want to put that. And my co-angler actually pops a really good fish. Now mind you, at the end of the day, I only finished 4 pounds off a check. So when you consider that I've already spent $1,700 on an entry fee and another 2,000 to 3,000 just prepping, gas, lodging, all of that to get up here, practice for a week, etc. Rather than just all jump into the guy, which I would never do, you know, I just asked him politely like, hey man, that's a cast I wouldn't want you to make. And we had a little discussion about it. And overall, once I could tell that the co-angler was starting to get a little disgruntled at the fact, I just let him know like, hey man, don't let this ruin your day.
Don't let that ruin your day, man. I'm definitely not mad at you. That's basically my own rule. I didn't really see that.
All right, if anybody should be upset, it's me, and I'm really not. All right, we're gonna keep catching fish. But you know what? It was a hard lesson for me to learn that I should have jumped on that the first thing in the morning. I normally do. To say that, you know, he absolutely didn't have anything to cast at, he most certainly did. The point to where my co-angler had caught basically 6 fish in the last 30 minutes of the day was setting directly off of the boat where he could cast to it. So again, you know, it wasn't that I was positioning the boat unfairly, it was just one of those situations that are gonna happen. And how you handle that as a boater and as a co-angler is really gonna dictate how the rest of the day goes. And it's why I've made that whole series on where you can cast and where you should cast and shouldn't cast.
This basket, fish,
Oh, no, come on.
yes.
I didn't even hear it. It hit right at the boat.
Whew. Oh, that's got some weight to it, thank goodness.
So with my 3 fish in the box, I felt extremely confident that if I sat on this spot, that if I fished it thoroughly, I could pull off what I needed to do and get some big fish in the box, which was my game plan for day 1. It just didn't pan out. So we literally set on this one stretch, maybe a 50-yard stretch, utilizing my Humminbird 360 Mega, which is incredible for this fishing. I could see boulders in 20 feet of water. I could see fish behind those boulders in 20 feet of water. So you know what? It was an extremely valuable tool for fishing the Great Lakes. But I sat on these boulders for 4 hours for 2 bites. I knew that that's what I needed to do.
Coming up? Yep.
You know, you always hear about decision makings during these events, and it really takes some experience to know when to just hunker down or when to move. And you know what? That's why I'm excited, and that's why I'm happy with the way that this turned out. Could I be happier? Absolutely. But you know what? I tend to look at the good side. I tend to take the positive and use that to beat down anything negative that could have occurred. And that's the don't back up, don't back down mentality, is to do that, whether it be in fishing or in life. Take that mentality and use that. Know that no matter how many times you get knocked down, you're gonna get back up. We ran a few more spots. My co-angler picked up his 5th fish, polished out his limit, even upgraded. So overall, great day on the water.
Can't walk right when you jump, huh?
Took the weight in the face and everything.
All right.
But got the net. Co-angler of the day.
So guys, I ended up finishing 58th in this event, 4 pounds out of a check. That's really only a couple good fish that I needed either day 1 or day 2, maybe about 3 fish. I could have probably made that up with 3 fish. So always try to remain cognizant of the mental aspect of this game, that it is going to always be beating you down. It's always going to be a grind. It's never going to be easy, but at the end of the day, you can do this. And take that mentality to heart, that you're not going to back up and you're not going to back down.